If you have a Volkswagen, I would have talked to you today about motor oils. So specifically why you need to use a racing motor oil in your Volkswagen. Okay, I get it, dude. I get it. You've got a 1500 with a single carb, single port. Why do I need a racing oil, right? So let me explain what I mean. Okay, so in the 1940s, 50s, or whatever, they were working with developing motor oils and stuff, right? And they came up with this chemical called zinc or ZDDP. It's a zinc phosphorus mixed. Da, da, da. Anyway, those two, zinc and ZDDP, are what they're usually called now. It was an additive to the motor oil. It was originally designed to prevent corrosion, but they found when it got heated up, it bonded to the steel inside the motor, inside the engine, right? The steel parts, so they wouldn't wear together. So your steel parts, like your camshaft in particular, and the lifters in there, right? They don't actually hit together when they're turning, the engine's running. There is a small film of motor oil that has ZDDP in it that bonds to that and prevents the two metal parts from rubbing together. If they rub together, they're going to create heat, they're going to create friction, they're going to burn up the parts, and da 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 da. So anyway, so they found that zinc ZDDP was just like super critical in motor oil. So as time progressed and as the 70s came and then catalytic converters were introduced, that they also found, all these scientist dudes found that like zinc, it promotes, well, it wears catalytic converters out. So it turns to like an ash and then covers the catalytic converter stuff up and kind of neutralizes the cat converters. So the cat converters started failing very early and prematurely. And then as that starts happening, the auto manufacturers have to warranty these catalytic converters. And they're like, well, we need to take the zinc out. So they changed the camshaft design. Anyway, they changed engine designs to not have to use nearly as much of that zinc, okay? And as they changed those engine designs, the government made them warranty cat converters for 50,000 miles. So they lobby with the government. You know the API standards that are always on your motor oils? Anyway, they lobbied the government to make those API standards to where you didn't have to have that zinc in it anymore. And in a nutshell, 80s, 90s, they started taking the zinc out of the motor oil. Nowadays with cars, you don't have a lot of zinc in that motor oil. Very, very, very little of that ZDDP, which is critical for our engines that were designed in like the 30s and 40s, right? And then kept that design up through the 70s or whatever. But that zinc is still critical for us. We don't have cat converters on our cars, most of us, right? And now the motor oil you buy doesn't have that zinc in it. So you have to seek out specific motor oils that have the zinc in it. As a general rule, the racing oils don't have, they have the zinc back in the motor oil. They never took it out because these muscle cars and these race cars, they don't have cat converters on them, right? So they have that zinc still in the oil that's very critical for us to use in our engines. So, I use Valvoline VR1. There's also like Royal Purple makes some. Lucas makes a classic car and hot rod motor oil. It has a lot of zinc in it. Like the key is like a 1,000 to 1,500 parts per million, whatever, of zinc. That's kind of your key figure you want to target if you're looking for your own motor oil. You can also, like Lucas makes this stuff. There's other companies that make a zinc additive, right? And you can just go down to Pep Boys or whatever, and get a regular motor oil, whatever you like, and pour it in and mix it, and you have the zinc back in the oil. So it's super critical that you use zinc. And it's really, the more performance you have, like you have, single carb, whatever, 1500 easy, whatever. There's not a lot of spring pressure. There's not a lot of cam lift. So it's still super critical. But as you go up and you turn in RPMs, and you start using like dual springs and higher, even single heavy duty springs and higher lift cams, there's more friction that goes on there. And it becomes more and more and more and more and more important to use that zinc, because once that cam just starts wearing a little bit and that lifter just starts, the hardening gets a little bit worn, it goes flat and you're done, your engine's gone. And I'm done and I'm gone because the phone is ringing, gotta go.